go to Lansing, Michigan. He is the mayor from Lansing, Michigan, Virgil Bernero. Virg, great to have you back on the program. Good noon.
Great to be here, Tom. And here's something that all Americans can celebrate. It looked dire times for the domestic auto industry. The federal government stepped in, 2 presidents, Democrat and Republican, to save the auto industry, and they are going strong. We're enjoying the great success of the North American Auto Show. The Michigan-made Chevy Volt is the car of the year, Motor Trend car of the year, and now North American car of the year. One of the Ford Explorer, North American truck of the year.
Is anybody? I know, Virg, I know, but is anybody going to buy the Chevy Volt at $42,000? Who's going to buy this besides Jeff Immelt at General Electric?
Well, look, I think a lot of folks are. My wife is really pressuring me so that we could get one. There is a credit, as you know, I think a 7,000 some federal tax credit, so that lowers the cost of it. Initially, these things are a little more expensive. It's a tremendous car. I don't know if you've had a chance to drive it, Tom. It's incredible vehicle. Drives like a Cadillac. You get, I don't know how many miles to the gallon. It's the best vehicle out there. It's got great takeoff and everything else, all the creature comforts.
We got a thing here,
we can compete with anybody in the world.
I like this. We got a thing called shameless plug. Rex, put it up there right now, because the mayor of Lansing, Michigan is doing a shameless plug here on the Chevy Volt. What you did, Virg, is in the bottom of the crisis, you said, no, we're going to manufacture. We're going to manufacture in Lansing. How many bodies have you put to work in Lansing, Michigan, given all the support of Michigan the federal government's given you?
Well, look, we had 2 GM plants that were going strong, that we were leading our brands with the Cadillac CTS and the Acadia and the Buick Enclave. We were going strong, and now we're going stronger. General Motors has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in our plants. We've got 600 new jobs on top of the 5,000 or 6,000 that we had. Right. So we're going strong in terms of automotive, and that means all the suppliers and everything else. But this isn't just about Lansing or Michigan. We're proud of the products we make. As you say, manufacturing is where it's at. You got to make things. This country was built on GDP, gross domestic product, and it can't survive just on consumption. We have to make things. So, and we have some of the most productive workers in the world. I
like this B-roll here. They're all wearing Detroit Tigers T-shirts. Virg, I want to look at this chart. Does innovation create jobs? Here's a painful chart. It's what Virg has lived in growing up in Lansing, Michigan, and Pontiac, Michigan, manufacturing, and then in 2001, off a cliff, and we've leveled out. What is the Bernero prescription for Washington to really jumpstart manufacturing? By definition, do you need a weaker dollar?
Tom, you ask a key question. Look, I think we need an Apollo-style commitment to manufacturing. We're up against, look, in some cases, and I'm not here to beat up on China, but, you've got a communist government that can make a decision and stick with it. We need to make a decision through Democrat and Republican, you name it. We need to say we're committed to manufacturing. We're committed to innovation. We can't simply, and we're still the most innovative country on earth, but we can't let all of our innovations and all of our inventions, all of our patents just go overseas to be manufactured. We can't go directly from the lab and then let all the production go overseas, every bit of it, including advanced manufacturing. We have to, both for economic security and for national security, we must be engaged in advanced manufacturing.
Virg, I got a chart.
So I hope both parties will get together.
Right. I got a chart here, Virgil Bernero, that I love. The view from Waterford Mott High School. Here's the view from Michigan. It's an elegant chart, folks. And boy, you can see the Michigan unemployment really come down from that grim level near 15%. Incomes of Michigan unemployment is getting a little bit better. Virg, if you were to go back to your Waterford Mott High School of 1980, 1981, 1982, what would you tell the kids back there? What do they need to do to get employed in Michigan, or for that matter, any other state in the nation?
Tom, I think, and I think this would be a great thing for you to hone in on a little bit. Don't let me tell you how to do your job, but I think we've got to give up on this idea. Look, we need to get better at advanced placement, college, and all that, but we also need a manufacturing route for kids. We need that skilled trades path so that not every child is going to go to college, and a 4-year college degree is not a guarantee of a job. We need a skilled trades path. When I talk about an Apollo-style commitment to manufacturing, I'm talking about going going back to middle school and identifying kids who are good with their hands, who are good at making things, and want to be involved in the skilled trades. There are good jobs for skilled tradesmen and for electricians and even for plumbers, for God's sakes. But we have this notion that everybody's got to be ready to go to college, and certainly college should be available to everybody, but we also need a viable skilled trades path, and we need to do that in Michigan and all around the country.
I'm going to tell you now how to do your job, Virg, and that is, how do you motivate the parents to get the kids educated? What do we do to get the parents engaged in making those wrench turners, if you want to call them that, with great respect? What do we need to do to get parents engaged, to get their kids to know the vocational training to get those jobs?
Well, Tom, it's a chicken and egg thing. You know, where does it come from? Leadership, of course, starts at home. Parenting is crucial. The first teacher is the parent. But also, when I say Apollo-style commitment, you know, I think back. I was born in '64, so I see tapes of the whole post-Sputnik era, and it seemed like, you know, President Kennedy said we're going to put a man on the moon, and Democrat and Republican all got together, the whole country, and there was a whole move towards sciences, and we had more people studying science and math. There was a national imperative to do that. We need a national imperative led not just by the politicians, but it wouldn't be bad if the politicians helped get it started. Again, Democrat and Republican coming together to say we have to make things. We cannot be a country that exports all the jobs, that imports everything. Again, both for economic security and for national security, we must make things. We have to have an advanced manufacturing sector, and again, make that a priority. We still have more patents than any country, but again, we're losing the number of PhDs, the number of kids going into math and science, and I know they can do it. We have some great magnet schools in Lansing where kids are learning robotics and other things. I know the kids have the aptitude for it, but we have to get together, all of us, the politicians, the community leaders, the educators, all of us on one page. We're not on one page, Tom. We're not. We're not in agreement. We're all over the map.
Well, Virgil, you know, I want to ask you this question here as we go to our next section, which is a tough section to do, and that is, we're going to look to Arizona and look at what our Secret Service is. Could you do your job now if you were forced to have Secret Service protection, as no doubt will be considered for Congress across this nation after the terrible events of this weekend? I'd love to know what you think about you having protection. Would that diminish your access to your public?
Look, Tom, it's a tough thing. And let me say, first of all, of course, my heart goes out to the family and friends of those affected. It's an absolute terrible, sickening tragedy. And I've thought about it. And look, we can't have a huge security apparatus around every public official. We just can't have it. I mean, we don't have the money for it, okay? And I'm not afraid. But I am afraid that we don't have proper care for people who are in need of mental health treatment. We have people out there we've thrown them, we've closed the institutions, and we don't have enough quality mental health. We've got good people out there in the mental health field who want to provide services. We need to put money around that, and we should pay attention to who we sell guns to. What's wrong with a background check, Tom? What's wrong with a reasonable background check? What's the difference if it took 24 or 48 hours to get that gun so that we make sure that you're not currently having a mental health crisis and you don't have a criminal background? That's all.
Thank you so much. A lot of energy there, folks, from Virgil Bernero.